thank you for those that joined us since we started to our Q A Salon for the series. We have our next question is from, actually our interviewer for the series is Wendy. So I'll turn it over to you, Wendy.
Great. Thanks, Gloria. Hi, everybody. It's so good to see all your faces. Thanks for, on behalf of me and Val, thanks for participating in the Choreograph Your Life series over the past few months. And I have a question for Miss Val right now, and it is, as a person who's very well known, how do you handle the ins and outs of social media?
How long do we have to answer this? Okay, so it is such a savage beast. It really is. The more people you have, the more followers you have, the more savage the beast gets. And I personally have recently been vehemently attacked on social media. And I've done I've had a lot of conversations with our sports psychologist and a few other people trying to process all this. It's like, why do people that don't even know me have such a strong opinion about things that they are professing to know, which they don't know? And it's been really fascinating. And someone told me to get this book. It's called You Are Less Dumb. And I think he wrote a book before this called You Are More Smart, but I didn't read that one yet. But this one is all about social media. And I encourage you, if you're on social media or if you have children, especially, because it talks about the fact that we all come to any discussion with our own bias. And so what happens on social media is, and that the research shows, that when we are given facts that state something opposite to what our bias is, instead of switching our minds and thinking, maybe they are right, we actually dig our heels in deeper. And it's more prominent on social media because it's like the ultimate mask. You don't have to be accountable to anybody. This book gets into, this is fascinating. It's a super easy read. I read it in one day, but it got into the dopamine effect of social media and how when people, yep, I see you guys going like this. And when people like or people agree with you, the same thing happens in your brain chemically that you get when you're drinking or gambling or great sex or whatever it is. It's a dopamine effect, and it is an addiction. And so the more times you're on social, the more you need that addiction. And so I take a deep breath whenever I'm going to get on social media. I'm going to realize that it is the vocal minority that is on social. It's a silent majority that is off social. And so I do a really good job of remembering that. And there's another, get this. This was a great stat in here. They did a research project with college students in 2010. And they had the college students rate things from what they desired most, from food, sex, friendship, money, and compliments. Overwhelming. The college students valued compliments, rated them the highest. Overwhelming. Compliments! Seriously, I know. Okay, the next thing that's really good I'm going to share with you that someone sent me yesterday that I listened to. It's like 8 minutes. It's Simon Sinek. You know Simon Sinek? You guys know Simon? He's awesome. And it's Millennials in the Workforce. And he talks about a lot of stuff that's in this book as well. So anyway, it's a phenomenon. Social media is a phenomenon that is, I don't know how we're going to do it, but I wish that we could have some social media civility standards. But
Val, what was the name of that book again and the author?
you are now less dumb.
Okay.
David, and his last name is MC capital Raney.
David McRaney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That I dog-eared and annotated, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's great.
Great. Thanks, Val.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So our next question is from Christy Grant. Christy, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey,
Thank you for taking our questions and being so gracious with all of this.
of course.
So my question was, what advice do you have for parents of newly graduated students? I have one in college, one graduated who's been listening with us. She's here to say hi. And just sort of what recommendations do you have for parents for managing this time in life and just this time with COVID and all that's going on?
I have very strong opinions about this, and I don't have children, so that's my disclaimer. But I have seen the difference between our student athletes that have graduated whose parents have done certain things certain ways, and I've seen the pros and the cons of both of those, especially now. I mean, even before COVID, we were hearing the statistics that more college students are moving back home. Just in this, especially in California with the cost of living and all that. And so my suggestion, if I had a college student right now who was kind of freaking out about not knowing what to do, there's no jobs, this and that, is allow them the space to not feel pressure to have to get a job, to have to know what they want to do. Show them, give them unconditional love by supporting them. The best way to show them love is to understand they're 22 years old. Life is about struggles and figuring out the struggles. Don't figure them out for them. Let them struggle. Let them fail. Even if they're living in your own home, let them do that. And then if they, because we all know as adults, we've all lived long enough to know that when we figure things out for ourselves and we fight through that struggle and come out the other side, there's a sense of pride inside of us that nobody can take away. And when we do everything for our children, we're depriving them of that feeling. Coach Wooden used to quote Abraham Lincoln all the time. The worst thing a parent can do for their children are those things that they can and should do for themselves. So that is, I don't know who's next to, is it Doug Golden? But you are just adorable. You're sitting there going, and then the other thing is, and I feel really, really strongly about this because I believe in the pride that we all get from work. I believe that we all need to work. If we are mentally, physically capable, everybody should work, have some side of a job, work. And if your children are moving back home or they're at home with you, then they need to somehow pay for their rent, help out at home. It is not a freebie. Even if they're paying for that by doing volunteer work. Even if they're going down and helping the food line, that's helping to pay. I mean, you're going, okay, check that off of their monthly payment. Even if they're helping out at church, even if they're, I think, oh my gosh, it's like when kids, when the athletes were coming to me and saying, Miss Val, I'm going crazy, I can't get a job, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, tutor. Go to your friends that have children. Set up tutoring for them. And so anything that you can help your children stay in the workforce game, even if they don't have a paying job, is going to fill them up and make them feel good about themselves through this transition versus sitting around and feeling sorry for themselves because they can't get a job. Christy, you keep looking at your daughter. So,
I'm wearing a swimsuit, so I didn't want to be like on screen.
okay, so Christy's daughter, what'd you think about that?
I mean, it sounds reasonable. Sounds good.
She got a job.
I got a job, so I'm okay.
The rent idea, but she got a job.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you help out at home?
I cook sometimes and I clean, so
Okay,
I guess.
good. Very nice. Good job.
Thanks.
I think we all need to be in agreement then when we do everything for our children, we're just shackling them. We're not helping them grow. So, and that's what I have found. That's what every coach will tell you. Pam Walker's on here with women's basketball. I mean, we all talk about it, the difference in kids that have come in the last 10 years. They're clueless of how to figure things out for themselves. They're not resourceful because they've never had to be. They've never had to learn that skill of how to figure stuff out. Pam, do you want to speak to that at all? Unmute.
I mean, I agree with you, Val. You know how it is. I mean, I think kids at their core still are the same in terms of they want to be loved and pushed and given discipline and all that. But I think parents have become more helicoptery, if that's a word, in terms of wanting to, you know, they will fill out the paperwork for their daughters even when they're in college. Like, no, they can handle it. Like, they're adults. They can figure it out. That kind of thing.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Christy and daughter, for being here for your question. And so our next question is Susan Ahern. Susan, I think I saw you. Are you there? You can unmute yourself. She might have left. Okay, so then we'll go to Debbie Sinek. I hear you, Debbie.
Hi there.
Hi.
It's Sinek, but yes,
Sinek.
that's okay. I had a question, Miss Val, about keeping kids working hard when they have no idea when their next competition or event's going to be a qualifying event. It was really hard, you know, not getting to go to nationals, trying to qualify for worlds in your last year in this one age group, and now you're bumping up, and trying to keep them focused to push on and know that there's an end goal. It's going to come around again. But in the meantime, I kind of getting a little bit of a roller coaster of working hard and then backing off a little bit. We did focus on AP classes over the summer so that we'd have a lighter load in the fall. My athlete's going to be a junior in high school. And so just trying to play that balance. But do you have any suggestions on ways to keep them motivated?
So are you a parent or a coach?
Right now, coach. I have done both, but in fact, you had texted me about, I teach competitive baton twirling.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool. Okay. I got super, super, super excited when I saw this question because, and I want to help you. Like when we're done here, just contact me and
Cool.
I want to come in and be your volunteer coach. But what I got excited about was if I was still coaching right now and it looked like we were not going to have a season, I would set up a season and I would divide my team into two groups, blue versus gold, and we would have different jerseys for them or different Leos or whatever that they wear and armbands and every week we would have a competition of something. And not just gymnastics or not just baton, but
Right, but my issue is a little different since I have an individual and we have no gym. We are now found a tennis court where we pull out a linoleum just to try to make it spin smoother. So yeah, we don't have the playing against each other, but I have her contacting competitors and Zooming with them just to try to keep the connection.
Right. Can you set up with her other competitors, like say take 5 of them, and can you I just feel it's super, super, super important to keep their competitive edge. They cannot go through a season without doing competitive something, even if it is like you find the Zoom people and you do hopscotch or jacks or like whatever the competitiveness is, or like a circuit that they've got to do. I really would like to vet this out with you, because I thought you were talking about a team, because that's super easy.
Yeah.
For an individual, we still have to hone her competitiveness. Otherwise, she's not going to be inspired to simply train skills and routine.
Right.
Nobody
And
is.
that's where the roller coaster comes in a little bit. Although social media has helped, because the Italians are back in the gym, Norway's posting things, and so they're seeing that, oh, our competitors are still progressing, and so that has helped some. But yeah, it's just trying to keep it
right. And I feel like the national team or the state, whomever is running it, should help you come up with this solution. With, if they're not going to have a competitive season, then let's set these 3 dates, and they're going to get ready and they're going to do routines, and everybody's going to watch via Zoom, and we'll have judges like Dancing with Stars. And yeah,
sounds good.
I want to be a judge.
Okay, love that.
Great, thank you, Debbie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So our next question is with Douglas Golden. You're there.
Hi, thanks, Miss Val. Since I'm enjoying the program thus far with my daughter Alyssa, we'll have her ask the question.
So the question that I came up with is, what are realistic ways that one can try to change from being critical and negative to optimistic and positive?
That's a great question. And it is a skill that you have to practice. It's not something that you can go buy at the store. And you have to really want to be optimistic and positive, and because you have to value the way your life, the way your days and your relationships are. You got to value the difference from when you are positive and optimistic to when you're negative. And honestly, Alyssa, you know, nobody wants to be around Debbie Downer. It's just sucks the life out of you. And so we have to figure out our motivation for why we want to be positive. And I feel like now is really a great time to be honing this skill, because as I mentioned, I think on every one of these that we've had, my emotions are like this. I wake up almost every day sad, wondering, when are we going to get through this? I'm wondering, are we going to be in a civil war through this election? My brain is not going naturally to positive these days. It's going to fear. And so first thing that I do, and I don't know if I shared this with you guys last time, is I just will put it on paper, and I'll write down all the things that I'm fearful about, like those things that I just shared with you. And then I'll circle the things that I have control over. And then the things that I have control over, then I'll go, okay, what can I do to take one step forward in a positive way to make that happen? The other thing that I do is I really remind myself that I only have one life on this earth, and I don't want to waste one day being Debbie Downer. Gosh, I hope nobody's name is Debbie on here. We need to come up with a different name. Oh, Debbie! Right, you are. Sorry. Okay. We'll just say Miss Downer. But I just don't want to waste one day. And so figure out how not to do that. And it is to flip it in your head. Just flip it. And when I was down with Coach Enquist the other day, Sue Enquist, and I'm not really good at practicing meditation and mindfulness. And so she goes, I am. Here, follow me. So we went to her backyard and sat down and just took some breaths. And then she just took me through it. And she said, just let the thoughts pass through your mind. Just let them pass through your mind. And that the thoughts that come back and circle back they're usually what you're worried about. So take a note and write that down. And then when you get through spending whatever long time you've allotted yourself for this mindfulness, then look at those and think, figure out what you can do with them or not do with them. And then once you get your game plan, go back to sitting and then let them go. Just let them go. And that helped me get control of my fears. But your question, I'm just looking at your question again. I've taken this like a whole nother direction. I'm so sorry. Is shifting from being critical and negative to optimistic and positive. And Alyssa, life is a choice. Choices you make are going to dictate the life you live. If you feed negative thoughts, if I feed negative thoughts, I'm going to be pissy, bitchy, poopy. Nobody's going to be around me. And I'm going to be like this with people. Okay? If I feed the positive thoughts, even the positive thoughts, like, you know what, just give yourself a break. We're all trying our best. It's okay. Feed those positive thoughts, and then kindness comes out, and compliments come out. And even if, like, I don't want to, like yesterday, I was in a horrible mood. My husband asked me to cut his hair. I did not want to cut his hair. But then I thought, you know what? Get over yourself. Just take a deep breath and take your time and cut his hair. And I did. It turned out really well. And at the end of it, I was like, all that negativity floated away because I was like, okay, get over yourself, Valerie. Got it. Let me see. What other? Okay. And then, Alyssa, just be that role model for your family, your friends, whomever you're with. Model kindness. Model being not judgmental. Model compassion. And what the heck does this mean? I wrote with an asterisk. You're here to listen to me. When I preach, I hold myself accountable. I don't know what that means, but that's what I wrote down. But I think what it means is just what I'm telling you is if you want to change, model the behavior.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Our next question is from, oh, she was here, Jody Milstein. Are you there? I just saw you.
I'm here.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Hello. First of all, I'm so excited to be here. I've been such an admirer of Miss Val for a long, long time. I'm a UCLA graduate from 1990 and a former gymnast. My daughter's a gymnast. I mean, just love everything about you. You just have such an incredible way to motivate people. And so this has meant a lot to be able to be, to participate in these different seminars. So my question is, because you have made some really dramatic changes in your life, especially recently. And with COVID, it's really kind of put a lot of things in perspective for me and my family. And we're thinking about making some changes, but I'm scared. So I wanted to know, how do you work past the fear of taking a leap of faith and changing the trajectory of your life with a new career or moving to a completely new city?
I feel you. Okay, so years ago I read Helen Keller said, life is a daring adventure or nothing at all. And what hit me was that came from someone who was deaf and blind. And for her to embrace that is something that I've thought about, I don't know, I probably read it 30 years ago. I think about it all the time. And I always say life is nothing but a grand adventure. And it truly is, because when we try to make life like this, we realize how grand life is, and there's no such thing as anybody's life being like this. So change will happen to us whether we like it or not. What I did, and I don't know if you guys were here last time, but Bobby said to me, my husband said when I retired, because he retired 4 years ago, and he said, okay, when you retire, we're going to move out of California because of the cost of living and all that, and go find someplace. And I've lived in California my entire life. my family is from Greece, right by the ocean. So the ocean thing is really speaks to my soul. And after looking at all these places to go move, we decided to move to my husband's alma mater, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Well, first of all, I'm telling everybody I'm moving to the Midwest. It's in the South. So I don't even know where I'm moving to. But the one thing that I did was I wrote down all the pros and cons of it. And that way you can see it. Okay. Big con was no ocean. Okay. Big con, I'm Greek and from LA, and I'm going to be going to the Midwest. Okay. I know it's the South now. I actually, the first time I told somebody, I said, that's okay. I'm going to keep a place in LA. I'm going to be bi-coastal. That's how ignorant I was. So, I know, Candace, I'm sorry. I'm a UCLA graduate too. I didn't know where Arkansas was, but I vetted out the pros and cons. Okay. The biggest pro for me was when I saw my husband, how happy he was there. And so through all of my freaking out, we literally moved out of LA on Friday. Okay. How many days ago? Done. Moved out of LA and moving out of California in a month. When I start freaking out, I force myself to remember how happy my husband is. And what a gift to be able to give him that happiness. Because we're going to move out of California anyway. Why not move someplace where my husband's happy? So at the top of my pro list, like I rearranged my pros and my cons, and I put that in big, bold letters with a photograph of he and I. And it makes things a lot less scary. And you know how I say, like, your thoughts dictate your emotions, dictate your actions. Life is about choice. When I allow myself to think, oh crap, I'm moving out of California, that just sounds so weird to me. But when I shift my thoughts and my words, my mental choreography, and I go, and I dump that and I go, oh my gosh, this is such an exciting adventure. I literally feel my body get excited. I have a visceral change in my body just from changing the way I'm thinking about moving. So I encourage you to look at this at a time like COVID. I'm looking at COVID. I'm choosing to look at COVID as a massive gift. It has been a gift of time. It has been a gift of me, Marie Kondoing all my not just my drawers, but my friends and the things that I want to do in life and not do in life. And I've looked at it as a gift of a life reset button of what do I want to do?
That makes sense. It does. It's just scary.
I know, but find those words in your brain that excite you.
Yeah. I felt that when you were talking about that, changing just that, thought process and looking at it as, what makes you feel excited about this. And so I can definitely see using that. Thank you.
Right. And coaches talk to our student athletes about this all the time, that when you're nervous or you're fearful and your blood starts pumping and your mouth gets dry and your palms start sweating, the same exact things happen physiologically when you're excited. It's just how you label it that determines your feelings towards it. You got this, Jody.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jody. Our next question is from Kelly Karamatsu.
Yes.
Hi, Kelly.
Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed these sessions. And like Jody, I'm also a 1990 alumni. So go Bruins. My question is, what advice would you give to someone who is considering taking on a leadership role that he or she is ambivalent about? Others have encouraged the move and are supporting this transition, but it's not a position that there's a strong desire for personally.
May I ask who's encouraging you?
Co-workers, mentors, other leaders in the organization.
Is there any opportunity for you to make this position a little different and more exciting than what it is?
Maybe. It's within a government agency, so things are very structured. You know, there's a civil service process and testing and in that respect. But just to whether, you know, I'm really interested in becoming this higher level position. I think I have the ability to do it, and others share that. I just don't know that I really want to.
Is there much of a leadership role in it?
Yes.
And I only ask that question because you don't have to like what you're doing to be inspired by it. And that's crazy to say, but like with me, with with gymnastics, this sounds horrible. Like, I love coaching, but I don't really I'm not a gymnastics fan. So if you said, oh, do you want to go be a gymnastics coach? No, I don't. Okay. But I loved the day in, day out part of the leadership and figuring out how to be a good leader and how to motivate. That's the part of the job I liked. So when I saw your question, I thought, is it possible for you to take the job for a shorter period of time, a shorter contract, and see if you can craft something within it that is inspiring for you? And if there is a leadership opportunity, then that kind of blows the thing wide open for you to be able to set leadership goals and standards and change the culture and the energy and the dynamic within the people whom you will be leading, because that's going to make the whole thing better. But if there's a possibility for that, then I would say, and you can take it not for a long contract, then I would say, you know what, check it out. You know, it may be different than what you thought. I did not want to take the head coaching job. I did not want to be in sweatpants and tennis shoes. I don't like them. I like high heels and dresses. But I remember saying, I'm going to take it for 1 year. I'm going to do that. And 1 year turned into 29 years. And I loved every second of it. But if you write your thoughts or the pros and the cons or whatever it is, put it on paper, write, because there's the research that talks about from the brain to this and how it ignites the creative part of your brain. If there's nothing that inspires you, don't do it. Life is too short. Absolutely too short. Then go find something that really makes your heart sing. And did you do the exercise last week about the 30 things that you want and the 20 things that you love? Did I talk about that?
I didn't get to finish.
Yeah. I mean, that is, Jennifer's cracking up. You guys are cracking up. I want to hear about that. Okay. When we finish these questions, I want to hear you guys thought about that. But Kelly, I would encourage you to finish that or start it all over again, because you may see, like, I think I told you guys the story. My girlfriend did it. She was in politics for 20 years and she realized there was nothing she wrote about politics, and she quit her job. After she got someone elected to the Senate, she quit the job. She's been out of a job for 1.5 years, and she says, I've never been happier and I've never been healthier.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kelly. Our next question is from, I got in the email, C. Hart.
That's me. Hi. Good
Hello.
evening, fellow Bruins. My question to Miss Val is about team building, especially when you're working in a multi-generational environment. In my case, it's a new team. I am a 90s graduate, just like Jody and Kelly. So I'm considered Gen X, and everyone else on the team is millennial or Gen Z. So what's the secret sauce?
God help you. God help her.
What's the secret sauce to building a great team?
Okay. Awesome. Awesome question, especially considering the generational differences. The secret sauce is to have a team meeting first thing and to say, all right, we're going to set the ground rules for our non-negotiables and what those are going to look like. And in doing so, we're going to start laying the bricks for our moral foundation for this group, for our team. So here we go. Get a grease board, get a chalkboard, get whatever you want, and have them start talking. And they're not going to know probably what the heck you're talking about. But what you want to get to is, what does respect look like for each other, for yourselves individually? What does respect look like? And write that down. You want to get to, what does communication look like? How are we going to keep from gossiping at the coffee machine? How are we going to stop? How are we going to be a team that is different than most groups out there? How are we going to stop those things like gossiping at the coffee machine? Because those things put cracks in our foundation. We have to keep our foundation strong. We have to have strong mortar. All right, guys, how are we going to deal with conflict resolution? Whether you guys, it's you against me, or you against each other, or one of you against me, or me pissed off with you, let's talk about this. How are we going to deal with conflict resolution? Let them be part of the solution. Don't come to them with a playbook. Come to them with the blanks that you're going to fill in. And then, big thing in my book is part of your non-negotiables for your moral foundation that you're laying here is, how are we going to make sure that we continue to create the safe space for creative ideas without judging each other, without knocking each other down, without rolling our eyes, without looking at our phones? Like, that's a whole nother moral foundation. When we're in a meeting, where are the phones? Are you going to allow them to be on the table? Or are they going to be, don't say you're going to be taking notes on your phones. No, write them down. You can put them on your phone later, because we all know, we all do it. We look at what's coming in our text messages when we say that we're taking notes. So lay that moral foundation strongly. Second of all, if I was leading a team right now, I would do what I did with this class that I just taught, because they were millennials, this graduate class I taught. I had them read the book Dare to Lead, Brené Brown, because it talks about things that their generation has never thought about. It talks about how vulnerability is the first step to courage. And millennials they think of vulnerability as a weakness. They've never thought about the power of listening and how listening is a skill that you have to train daily. And so this book was just filled with little gems. And if you could, Carwin, is have them read it, one chapter a week, and then spend a half an hour going over it in a team meeting. The more you get them to engage, the more you get them to offer suggestions for what these non-negotiables are going to be in laying the foundation for our team, the more they will want to uphold them, because you're making them part of the equation. You're not talking at them. We truly are a team. And then the most important follow-up is, you have to model that behavior. You have to make sure that when someone's speaking to you, your phone is nowhere near. You have to be able to come into a meeting and go, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Humbly apologize. You have to model behavior and say, guys, you know what? I'm just going to be straight with you. I know we talked about what respect looks like, not just for each other, but for ourselves. And I've just been beating myself up over this deadline that I know I'm not going to be able to meet. And I've been negative talking to myself the whole time, which has been draining my energy. That's been preventing me from working on to get the deadline done. I just want to let you know, you may not see it, but I'm confessing. It's a crack in our foundation because I'm not at my best.
Would you give different advice if I told you that 90% of the team is male?
No.
No. Okay.
Because 95% of the class I taught was male.
Okay.
And we have shackled our boys. We have the last, how many, 20, 30 years, we've been on this empowerment train for girls. To speak up.
Yeah.
But we have shackled our boys. We have kept them in the dark ages. We've not brought them up to understand that compassion is not a soft skill. That compassion, vulnerability, humility, listening, caring, empathy, these things are really, really strong life skills. They're power skills. I think it's more important that they're boys. Girls can hammer this out like that. Boys are going to be like, whoa. That's why I really, 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 really suggest they read Brene Brown. And at the end of this class I taught, there was 12 people in it. 10 of them were graduate students or fifth years, student athletes or coaches, tough, most of them were football. And they, at the end of the class, I said, just give me some feedback. Give me a debrief. What'd you learn? Every single one of them said, I never thought of characteristics like vulnerability as being strengths. I always thought of them as weaknesses.
Thank you. That was
You're
helpful.
welcome. I got a little passionate with that response, didn't I?
I liked it.
Wow.
Thank you, Carwin. Next is Rebecca
Hoddington.
Hello, hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Thanks so much, Miss Val. This has really been a real treat, all of these sessions. Just wanted to start with that. My question has to do with juggling. I'm pretty well along in my career and I enjoy it. It's been a bit of a meandering path, but I'm happy. What I'm really struggling with on a day-to-day basis, and this is, even before the pandemic, the pandemic seems to just kind of intensify this problem, which is, how do I find balance? We all have responsibilities. We all have things that we need to take care of, be it family, be it, partner, children, whatever. My personal situation is, I work full time. So does my husband. We have a 4-year-old daughter. How do you do it all? How do you, I feel like ruthless prioritization is so far all I've been able to come up with. And I'm hoping for some wise words or tips or skills that might be helpful for someone who's trying not to drown and wants to do well, and also including taking care of myself and be a good role model for my daughter and continue to have fun. I don't necessarily want to feel like I'm giving up anything, like I have to quit my whole career because I need more sleep.
Yeah, and I wish that I had a quippy little comeback, because when you said ruthless prioritization, and you guys, let's all help Rebecca come up with a different word for that, because there does need to be prioritization. You need to set a schedule, which I'm sure you do, and you need to prioritize that schedule, and you need to stick to it.
Yeah.
So if you say you're not going to check your emails until 10 o'clock because you're going to get up, you're going to make breakfast for your 4-year-old, you're going to exercise 10 minutes a day, you're going to, and then you're going to check your emails at 10, you have to stick to that. We all know that when we stick to a schedule, it kind of gets us in a rhythm. The second thing is to give yourself a break. So if you think, like I was someone that thought if I didn't exercise an hour, when I go out to exercise, then that's not really exercise. Well, that's a load of crap. Okay. So through COVID, I will tell myself, and this is what works for me, I will tell myself, I have to get in 200 push-ups and 200 dips and 200 abs. And literally, I go down the stairs and I turn around and I do 10 dips. Okay. And then I go to the kitchen table and I do my little 10 push-ups because I can't do push-ups on the floor. And then I just count them up. And then by the end of the day, it's like if I have 6 more left to do, I go do them before I go to bed. Okay. But it's not an hour. And if I did them together, it would take a total of like 5 minutes to do it. But that's what I got right now. So I'm giving myself a break. Give yourself a break. And then the ruthless prioritization is the top of that list needs to be the health, the mental and emotional health and well-being of you, your husband, and your daughter. And so if she's having a meltdown and you need to spend 15 minutes with her and once again, set boundaries and say, honey, listen, I'm supposed to be in a call right now. I love you so much. I'm not going to get on that call, but I got 15 minutes. So you want to color? You want to walk outside? What do you want to do? I'll do anything you want to do. Have you ever listened to Shonda Rhimes, The Year I Said Yes? Her podcast, right? Is it Ellen or Elan? Yeah. She talks about the fact that she's a Titan and that she is a go-getter. I don't like to play. I like to work. And she has 3 daughters. And one year she said every time her daughters asked her to play, she was going to play. And what she realized was it didn't take an hour. Like after 3 minutes, they're bored with mommy. But it made her feel that she was giving her time to her children. Her podcast is great. Not podcast, TED Talk. The Year I Said Yes to Everything. But also, Rebecca, I feel like women and men who are parents, spouses, and have jobs are all in the same boat. You all are saying the same thing. And you need to give yourself a break. You need to cut yourself some slack. You need to realize that it's okay to have grilled cheese sandwiches for dinner.
Oh yeah, and cereal or pancakes.
Great.
Whatever's in the freezer.
Whatever's in the freezer.
I don't know 4-course meals here.
And then, Rebecca, you also understand that the compound effect, right, is net positive or negative. Where when you do set yourself on a schedule and you do, like, I'm just going to use myself because that's what I know. But when I let myself have 2 cups of coffee a day. I let myself have 1 glass of wine a day. I have to get in my da-da-da-da. And that compound effect keeps me mentally and emotionally, physically healthy. When I go, screw it, I am so tired. I want that 3rd glass of wine. I don't give a crap. That sets up the negative compound effect because then I don't sleep as well. Then I get up with a hangover. Then I get it, and or I eat like crap. And the compound effect of the little itsy bitsy tiny things that you do will add up positively or negatively. And that's why I say, again, cut yourself some slack and give yourself a break. I love the fact that you can have cereal for dinner. And it's the same. Do you notice that you're on phone calls that you could take care of in 4 minutes and they're lasting 24 minutes?
I try to cut those out, but yeah.
Yeah. And set a time limit. And it's okay. Okay. I'm going to give a big hallelujah thank you to Estella and Wendy and Gloria and Amanda, because we were supposed to do this last week, right? My job is to do this last Tuesday. We were supposed to do this. I was supposed to have all of your questions answered by then. I was moving. The social media stuff really got in my head, and I was not in a good place. And instead of just feeling horrible about myself that I'm not living up to the expectations of UCLA, I became vulnerable. I did exactly what I'm preaching to all you guys to do. I became vulnerable. I became humble. I apologized to the 4 of them, and I said, I just can't do it today. tonight. I'm asking to postpone this. And they are so gracious. And what I'm saying is the people in your life are the same, because we're all going through the same thing. Every one of these wonderful women said, oh my gosh, Miss Val, you take care of yourself, of your emotional well-being. We can reschedule this. No problem. And I felt horrible for you guys that had set aside your time for last week. Maybe you didn't have time this week. You know, here I am screwing up everybody's schedule. But then I cut myself some slack because I was being good to myself by saying, I just can't do it. And it turned out so much better than had I just plowed through. And it also gave Gloria and Wendy and Estella and Amanda the opportunity to show grace and compassion for me. So it was this win-win compound effect, the positive compound effect all the way around.
And also I wanted to add, Miss Val also took the opportunity to answer a lot of your questions that we weren't able to answer today. So for those who did submit questions, Miss Val actually went through all the questions and we posted some more of the questions that she was able to answer. So thank you everyone too for your grace as well, and those that wrote in to say, oh, I hope she's okay, everything's okay. And so thank you for also being flexible and being able to meet today. So I did want to be mindful of time, and it's 6:02. But first, if you want to unmute, I wanted to give a round of applause to all of you and also Miss Val as well for just participating in the series, and then also, you know, submitting your questions, because that truly was the basis of a lot of the different curriculum too, is what is it that we can have, you know, we could answer for you as well. And so wanting to make this series as applicable and helpful as possible. But thank you all for your time as well, that you've given the 4 hours through all the different months to participate and be present with us. So we really appreciate your time as well. Ms. Val, did you want to add or close with anything?
I do. I want to finish with one thing that Rebecca's, and I don't know if Rebecca, this adds on to your question or not, but this just came to my mind that we're all struggling. We're all struggling. I don't have kids and I'm retired and I'm struggling. I can't imagine what it's like being a full-time mom, having a job and spouse. But one of the greatest gifts we can give each other is to ask for help. And so you know what it feels like when someone says to you, I need to bend your ear for 5 minutes. You know, can I have 5 minutes of your time? My husband's driving me nuts. And then you help them. Or they say, or, you know, I say, like I said to them, like, and it all came up last week because Estella said, you know, Miss Val, I'm so excited to see you bring your joy again. And I realized I got no joy right now. I gotta go get that joy back. But when someone, don't be afraid to ask people for help and for grace, because when you all know this, when you do something for someone without getting anything in return, it is the greatest gift. It is the greatest feeling on your heart. And we often feel like we have to be superheroes, super, you know, moms, super guys, super dads, whatever these days, and do it all and get through our to-do list by the end of the night and the whole bit. Okay, nobody does that. Nobody. And to be able to ask for help is, it's a two-way street. And it's like I keep talking about this compound effect. It just, it makes other people, it makes their hearts sing. So Rebecca asked me to babysit your daughter. I'm fine. And I don't have COVID. I'll do it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
If you want to unmute and say goodbye, you can.
Thank you. Appreciate everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Good luck in your new adventure, Miss Val.
Thank you. My new grand adventure. I'll see you all soon. We're going to be talking about our next phase with all of this. So I hope to see you all soon. Send Gloria any suggestions that you have or what you would like to see or what you'd like to talk about. And we're going to be planning the next thing for the fall.
Please do.
Thank you
I
so
just added
much.
in my email if you want to email me. So feel free to email and we'll keep this going. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Be safe. Be well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.